to Getting a Grip on the Michigan Business Network. This is Mike Maddox. I am your host, and I have a halo behind me. So I think that this is going to be a very special show. I can feel it because the sun or the angelic halo just shining in on the conversation today. I'm really excited to be doing the show today because I have longtime friend, longtime business partner, longtime marketing director for companies I've worked with, Katie Saglimbene. Katie, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. It was strange
Uh,
not having to write my own show sheet for today. So,
yeah,
yeah.
it is so weird because for years I did Bottom Line IT podcast, and as people who know me well will appreciate, I did almost no work for that. It was all Katie behind the scenes. I just showed up and hit record. I didn't even hit record. Somebody did that, and I would just
Yeah.
start talking, which is, it turns out that's what I do best, is just talk. It doesn't
Talk.
always make
Yep.
sense, but I talk.
Yeah.
So Katie, but it's not about me, contrary to what I usually think. It's not about me. This is about you. And I want to talk about
Yeah.
first, tell our listeners about Elevate, because that's the company you own and run, and give us a feel for what it is, what's unique about it. Just tell us about what's going on at Elevate.
Yeah, well, in short, Elevate Marketing Company is a marketing agency that specializes in social media management, marketing strategy. We even do some website design and development for brands who are really just tired of trying to do it all themselves. And there's a lot of similarities between the marketing industry and the marketing world with IT management too, which you and I have both worked in long time in that industry of just, if it's technology, it's got to be the IT management responsibility, right? And so it just,
Mhm.
the IT management has just accumulated all these responsibilities because it plugs into the network, or um
It
because you
has
use a
digital in
computer
the
to access
title.
it, right?
It's
It's
the
a
internet.
digital,
Yeah.
it's digital and it's tied to the internet, so it has to be your responsibility, right? And that's not always the case, but in, especially with the marketing umbrella, there is a vast array of responsibilities, from PR and communications to social media management to ad management. And then you have different
Branding.
layers too of
Yeah.
strategy and implementation and planning and remediation and all of those things. And honestly, that's a lot of responsibility to put on a single person, or
Yeah,
even a small team of
especially
people.
just to interject, especially a single person or a single group of people where that's not their love and great. That's not what they do well,
Hmm.
like IT people. I mean, IT people, not to paint too broad a stroke, but in general, they're not marketing minded. That's not what they
Right.
do. Even at the executive level at companies, that's not necessarily what they think about.
Hmm.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, one of my goals has always been to help business owners look at all the pieces of the puzzle. Like, it's coming up on Christmas time. A lot of people in winter, people are playing a lot of like puzzles and that sort of thing. Let's lay all the jigsaw pieces out on the table and let's start piecing it together to figure out what your marketing picture looks like. And you have to have that visual. And I guess that's one of my core strengths as a visionary, is to look at the big picture and see where social media falls into the big picture. Where does email marketing fall in? How do people feel about your logo? How do you make people feel with your brand? And that's just one of the core specialties that we have. We have narrowed it down to our core bread and butter of social media, and digital ad management, marketing strategy, and website design and development. That's usually the the bare basics of what people need. But
Yeah,
then we've also designed our business model that if there's not a service that we offer in-house, we have a whole pool of creative entrepreneurs and freelancers and contractors that we have relationships with, that we can piece together that solution for them. So if you need a videographer, a graphic designer, um, those types of things, that makes sense to be able to have a trusted group of
right.
people and companies that you can lean on. And for our clients, they can talk to one company, and we kind of source out and figure out who best is going to come through on that solution for them.
Well, yeah, and I would think that's what the business owners, executives want, is one person to go to with marketing, branding, social media, advertising, who can either do it, like you said, with your staff, or knows who can and can bring in the
Yeah.
right parties. They don't want to have to research that, figure it out on their own, because you're going to hear a million different stories as to who can do what and who's good at what, and they all sound good, but in reality, they don't always, the rubber doesn't always meet the road. And with Elevate, it absolutely does. I can tell you from personal experience, having Elevate done branding and marketing and social media for many of my businesses I've been involved in. So I can certainly be a testimonial to what you're capable of doing, both in-house and with partners. So that is truly unique, and I love the fact that you've narrowed it down to what your core in-house strengths are, and you don't try to be all things to all people, but then you do try to partner with other trusted resources. So that's exactly what it's all about. We're gonna talk more about that, because that's a fundamental part of the EOS journey, is identifying who you are. And in the next segment, we're going to get into that, and we're going to hear about your EOS journey. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Getting a Grip, and this is on the Michigan Business Network. We are coming right back.